So we move into the 69-kilogram welterweight division. And what a matchup this promises to be. Andrei ZAMKOVOI, 26 years of age, the 10th AIBA-ranked boxer in the world. Only one fight in his World Series boxing career to date, but no doubt about this man's credentials in AIBA boxing. Here's the one-fight record. Lost that fight during week number 8 against the Spaniard of Cuba. It was during week 8.
En la esquina de Domadores de Cuba, Roniel Iglesias.
And Roniel Iglesias, listen to the round of applause that will greet this man's emergence into the arena, because he has been one of their best, most decorated global AIBA boxers in recent years. And as he skips his way to the ring, the two-time Olympic medalist, the reigning Olympic gold medalist from London 2012, and a man who took World Championship gold in Milan 2009, makes his way to the ring for his 4th World Series boxing outing. Ranked at number 3 in World Series boxing, had 3 2 of those wins have come via the short route. So the credentials that he possesses in AIBA boxing, the 3-round variety, he has transferred to the 5-round style of World Series boxing with aplomb. A formidable competitor.
Tercer combate de la
and a
noche,
wonderful
división
boxer.
69 kilogramos. En la esquina de Rusia, Andrei ZAMKOVOI. En la esquina de Domadores de Cuba, Roniel Iglesias.
So the Russian, with only one outing this season, took a loss against, well, interestingly enough, another Cuban, Arisnoides Despaigne. Despaigne, one of my favourite fighters in the WSB. Great character, displaying great unusual skills as well. And you could almost forgive him for that loss, but he goes in against Roniel Iglesias, one of a scheduled 5.
So this, a matchup of Olympic medalist from London 2012, ZAMKOVOI, the bronze medalist at welterweight, where he lost to the Val Barker Trophy winner Serik Sapiev in the semi-finals. And if there's any advantage ZAMKOVOI can look to take, because again, as we've pointed out, classy AIBA boxer in his own right, the 10th ranked AIBA boxer at 69 kilograms welterweight, the silver medalist from the World Championships in 2009, is that he perhaps is the naturally bigger man, being at welterweight for a longer period of time than Iglesias. Iglesias coming up from light welter, that's where he took his Olympic bronze medal in Beijing in 2008 and his world title in Milan 2009. Can ZAMKOVOI bring that size advantage to bear as he takes a swift left hook with his back pin to the ropes? Iglesias has started this in blazing fashion.
Well, Iglesias has set his stall out here. This is a very assertive first minute of this first round for the Cuban, and ZAMKOVOI starting to feel the pressure being put on the back foot, and electrifying hand speed we're seeing here from Iglesias, and of course the lateral movement all coming into play here. ZAMKOVOI having to wake up real quick here and smell the coffee. This is a pivotal fight within the series of 5 here, because Russia needs to win all straight 3 to force that golden bout. But looking at the form that Iglesias is displaying in this first couple of minutes in this first round, well, it's going to have to be a super performance from ZAMKOVOI to get on top here. Both fighters are southpaw, and both fighters got the range, got the height, and got the experience, but the level of class being displayed right from the get-go puts Iglesias, well ahead in this round, closing down the ring, making life very difficult for ZAMKOVOI. And at the moment, it's the Cuban that's scoring and using the hands to good effect, and that, I think, with just half a minute to go in round one is going to reflect very well on the judges' scorecards.
So inside the final 30 seconds of this opening round, eye-catching left uppercut out of that southpaw stance from Iglesias, and ZAMKOVOI content to get on his bike just to allow his head to clear perhaps, because it was a buzzsaw of a shot from the Cuban Olympic champion. As the 10-second clapper sounds here in the opening round, Iglesias now dropping his hands and just feinting, both men feinting, trying to draw a lead of which they can counter. And as the bell sounds, hugely competitive action as the boxers return to their respective corners. Iglesias, the number 3 ranked World Series boxer. ZAMKOVOI, just one fight to this point in his World Series boxing career. He's looking for his first win tonight.
So the tail of the tape here shows us the aggression right from the get-go that Iglesias has brought to this. And ZAMKOVOI, well, covered up, moved well, tried to keep out of trouble, but just look at the connections, all scoring, all solid hits, and well, there's no doubt about it, Iglesias has come to this looking to do business.
Double left uppercut during that exchange there from Iglesias. Absolutely brilliant work at short range, reflected on the scorecards. All 3 of the judges scoring this bout, seeing it unanimously in favor of the Cuban. So perhaps just a nick or an abrasion on the edge of that left eye. You see the petroleum jelly being applied. As we move into the second round, 69-kilogram welterweight action between 2 highly decorated AIBA boxers. AIBA number 5 at 64 kilograms, right behind his teammate Yasniel Toledo, is Roniel Iglesias. He's a WSB number 3. He's taking on the AIBA number 10 at 69 kilograms. And that is Andrei ZAMKOVOI. We talked about the Olympic pedigree that both of these boxers been to the ring. Bronze medal from London 2012 at welterweight for ZAMKOVOI. A gold medal at 64 kilograms light welterweight for Iglesias. Also dominant national champions as well. 3-time gold medalist is ZAMKOVOI in 2010, 2011 and 2013 as well. Iglesias, a 6-time senior national champion. First one in 2005, then 8, 10, 11, 12 and 13. And if you're a national champion of either of these 2 nations, you certainly know your way around a boxing ring. This is what World Series boxing action can do. Put high quality, best operators in the business together over 5 3-minute rounds. Good left hand to finish that forward assault from Iglesias, and he's pinning ZAMKOVOI to the ropes. ZAMKOVOI covering up and weathering the storm before coming back with offense of his own. Terrific action here in the second round as we approach the halfway stage.
Well, again, the aggression from the Cuban. Iglesias came out, put pressure on ZAMKOVOI, but now we're seeing ZAMKOVOI open up and landing his own shot. Got to cover the distance, got to get the range right, and that's difficult because this is a moving target. Iglesias, well, what a tough job you've got in getting him in the crosshairs. But ZAMKOVOI knows just how important this pivotal 3rd bout is. And what's he going to do to counter what are incredible skills and assertive aggression from the Cuban? Closing down the ring, but ZAMKOVOI on his bike, moving round, trying to keep out of trouble. Good lateral movement.
But is there enough offense coming from the fist as he takes a stiff right hand out of that southpaw stance from Iglesias? Another right jab as well was a swift one that caused ZAMKOVOI's head to swivel, displaying plenty of ring craft as he takes a hard right hand to the solar plexus. But you just get the sense that he's coming out second best here. Iglesias on the front foot and in accurate, aggressive mood. Flashes of his quality and pedigree from ZAMKOVOI, but not enough of them, I would venture to suggest, to keep Iglesias at bay. Terrific action, terrific competition here in the second round as Iglesias gets through with this snaking right jab. ZAMKOVOI just being given mild admonishment from the referee for his roughhouse tactics at close quarters. The fighters fall shoulder to shoulder in an untidy clinch again, and at the conclusion of that clinch, who is it that's on the front foot and landing the punches? It was Iglesias before a 3-punch assault from ZAMKOVOI just before the concluding bell. So brilliant second round of boxing. Iglesias making most of the running, forcing the fight for the most part. Will the judges favor aggression? He took the opening round in unanimous fashion, Seen with his hands down by his belt line now. There's a left hand over the top and the right hand to follow it, just causing ZAMKOVOI to look for a clinch to allow his head to clear.
Well, going into the third, we see the judges have found 10-9 in favor of Iglesias, so the Cuban takes that round convincingly. What we do notice, though, is Eduard Kratsov working on the eye of ZAMKOVOI, and that left eye of ZAMKOVOI has a little nick, slightly more prominent than the eye of Iglesias. So going into this round now, problem for both fighters.
So into the third round we go. Andrei ZAMKOVOI has lost the opening 2 rounds in unanimous fashion for all 3 of the scoring judges. Remember, there are 5 judges seated ringside. 3 judges will be selected randomly before the opening bell without their knowledge. All 5 will write down scores. Only 3 scores will be used to determine the outcome of the bout. And of the 3 scoring judges, all 3 of them in both of the opening rounds to this point have scored in favor of the Cuban. Iglesias in scintillating form. Good left hand from ZAMKOVOI. Looked as though Iglesias' knees dipped momentarily, but he didn't skip a beat, got right back onto the front foot and continues to take the fight to his Russian adversary. Now coming with shoe shine shots to the body and turning him up nicely to the head. ZAMKOVOI content to cover up and then hold on and walk his man backwards just to gain some respite from the fast-fisted assault that is coming from the reigning Olympic champion.
ZAMKOVOI impressing me immensely with his footwork. He's got a deep stance. He has to cover the distance in order to land his own shot. And of course, the Cuban presenting a very, very difficult target. However, I'm impressed with the lateral movement and the evasive work of ZAMKOVOI. But against a fighter like with the Cuban are presenting here in Iglesias, this is just a really, really tough job.
So just past the halfway stage of this third round, ZAMKOVOI, his credentials as a 3-time national senior champion, reigning Olympic bronze medalist and World Championship silver medalist from Milan 2009. His credentials not in doubt, but he really is facing a man in confident mood and determined to put on a show for the crowd in Roniel Iglesias, continuing to pour forwards and stalking his man with malevolent intent. Inside the final minute now, pins ZAMKOVOI to the ropes once more, and it's interesting to note that it is ZAMKOVOI who, more often than not, is the boxer that is keen to initiate the clinches. Referee allowing the 2 boxers to work away. It's Iglesias who takes up that invitation by letting his hands go to the body. Both boxers with their hands down by their belt line. 30 seconds to go in round number 3. And just see blood being speckled onto the left shoulder of ZAMKOVOI. Just that nick on his left eye, perhaps smearing the blood around. But the corners have done a good job with the respective nicks on the eyebrows as we approach a 10-second clapper here in the third round. And it continues to be Iglesias, impossible to resist, pouring his way forwards, and ZAMKOVOI having to fight his bout on the back foot and the long way around the ring. He did get in a good left hand off the ropes there, but just like he's been throughout the contest, his moments of success were fleeting in comparison to the marauding, accurate assaults that are being produced by Roniel Iglesias. Looks as though he's had a trip to the barbers ahead of this contest. That nasty design on his head side, and there was a good left hand off the ropes from ZAMKOVOI. Iglesias with 2-fisted combinations, continuing to put ZAMKOVOI under pressure, but ZAMKOVOI, a fighter of his ability and experience, not overawed, but perhaps being outworked and outboxed during the course of this contest, takes a share of that third round for one judge. First share of a round he has taken, but this man, Roniel Iglesias, in a commanding position as we move into the fourth round.
So going into round 4 here, this looks like a cake to be walked by Iglesias, opening crisply, asserting his dominance right from the get-go. every performer from the Russian boxing team so far has been full of heart, given great accounts of themselves. But on home turf, here in Cuba, against the talent that the Cuban team can bring about, well, tough job indeed. So the pace of this fourth round slowed just slightly after that crisp start, settled down, but always behind the driving wheel. IGLESIAS putting ZAMKOVOI under pressure. And ZAMKOVOI, although he's covered up, we're still seeing good work here from IGLESIAS. Starting to be just a little off target, close in, good work from ZAMKOVOI in terms of covering up, but he's starting to land shots now.
ZAMKOVOI getting just a little bit disheveled and a little bit ragged because the shots that were being let go by IGLESIAS brought him first of all to a standstill, and then he appeared to rock ever so slightly after being placed under a sustained assault for about 10-12 seconds. Now back onto the front foot and trying to let his hands go. But IGLESIAS in red-hot form here tonight. And even though ZAMKOVOI is hugely experienced and has heaps of ability, he really has been subjected to something of a baptism by fire here in World Series boxing. For week 8, on his World Series boxing debut, he had the dubious privilege of sharing the ring with Despania, the World Championship silver medalist from Kazakhstan last year, got all the way there as an unseeded boxer, and now he's facing the reigning Olympic champion and bronze medalist from 2008, world champion in 2009, Roniel IGLESIAS, who has blazed his way to 3 World Series boxing victories here in season 4, 2 of them via the short route. So ZAMKOVOI, just a little bit of spark gone out of his work now, being forced backwards once again and under increasing pressure. He's catching a lot of those shots with his gloves, but such is the force that his head is still being buffeted backwards as there are less than 30 seconds to go in this fourth round. Good shot on the inside. You saw IGLESIAS' head swivel as he took that little nudging shot at close quarters. But IGLESIAS just proving to be an irresistible force to this point in round 4. Still full of fight, full of freshness. ZAMKOVOI appearing to be far more ragged as we approach a closing bell to end this round. And I'd suggest that that bell hasn't come a moment too soon for Andrei ZAMKOVOI. Walks his way back to his corner, but was put under considerable pressure during the final two-thirds of that round.
So the tail of the tape just showing the sheer dominance. IGLESIAS really starting to get some leverage into those shots now. Tough ride for ZAMKOVOI. Just slicing through the guard. ZAMKOVOI, no answer. And just look at the intensity. IGLESIAS stamped his indelible mark on round 4. Judges saw it that way as well. Going into the 5th and final round, well, it does look like a cake to be walked for the Cuban.
So 69-kilogram welterweight boxing action here in World Series boxing. The second leg of the semi-finals. Cuba leading 2-0 on the night, 5-2 on aggregate. Quite simply, Russia have to take this bout if they hope to extend their stay by forcing a sudden death box-off here in this semi-final second leg. But Andrei ZAMKOVOI has a proverbial mountain to climb here because he has dropped every round in unanimous fashion, bar round 3, where he took a share of that round for one of the judges. So really, he's going to have to produce a punch to bring about a finish. But against a man as seasoned and as experienced and as tough as Roniel IGLESIAS, that could well be a tall order. Could IGLESIAS perhaps get overconfident in his desire to produce a grandstand finish for the crowd? But look at the manner in which IGLESIAS is going about his work. He's comfortably in front. He could perhaps afford to coast and take his foot off the gas. No such intent from IGLESIAS as he continues to pursue ZAMKOVOI with menacing intent and put the Russian under serious pressure. ZAMKOVOI takes a stiff right hand with his back to the ropes and initiates a clinch once more. A furtive glance to the corner from Roniel IGLESIAS as we approach a halfway stage of this 5th round.
Pressure has been the key word in all the performances we've seen from the Cubans here tonight. They've come out, set their stall fairly early on. They've come to do business. National pride at stake here in front of our home crowd, and they've produced the results. Just under a minute and a half in round 5. The intensity has eased off, but I suspect once Iglesias gets his wind up coming into the end of this round, he's going to put ZAMKOVOI under severe pressure. ZAMKOVOI has done very well in sustaining the pressure.
Not suggesting that he's in survival mode, but ZAMKOVOI, far less offense coming from his gloves at this point. He's dancing on the back foot, staying out of harm's way, because when he's in punching range, this tends to be the result. Covering up, under pressure, and just weathering the storm, waiting for Iglesias to take a breather. Spirited rally being produced here now, but you can see the fatigue becoming an increasing factor for ZAMKOVOI as he's wrestled to the canvas after standing shoulder to shoulder and clench to clench with Iglesias in the early stages of the bout.
Half a minute left, 30 seconds to go. ZAMKOVOI already exhibiting signs of wear and tear, but just look at the Cuban, lemon fresh, coming into this final 20 seconds of round 5, closing down the ring, chasing ZAMKOVOI, no guard, just hitting from the hip, and this is really another demonstration of the sheer dominance of the Cuban team. The seconds tick away, the clock is against ZAMKOVOI in being able to pull a rabbit out of a hat here. That's it, it's all over.
While Cuban fans in attendance stand to their feet, high fives from the coaches in the red corner. That red vest so synonymous with the Cuban glory years of Olympic boxing down the years. Of course, the team's now represented in red or blue, so the red's going to be for one team or the other in Olympic competition. But Iglesias, really, well, we said at the outset, he's been one of their most dominant boxers of recent times. Predicted for greatness all the way from his junior career, and he came through in this contest with a dominant display against Andrei ZAMKOVOI, boxing at an incredible pace, and a rousing reception as Iglesias really did raise the roof through 5 scintillating rounds of boxing as we await
Resultado del
the official
combate.
announcement.
División 69 kilogramos. Juez 1, 49-46. Juez 2, 50-45. Juez 3, 50-45. El vencedor por votación unánime de los Domadores de Cuba, Roniel Iglesias.
For the 3rd bout in succession, the hand of the Cuban boxer has been raised here in Havana because Roniel Iglesias has produced an absolute masterclass over a reigning Olympic bronze medalist Andrei ZAMKOVOI. So dominant was the performance of Iglesias that he reduced an Olympic bronze medalist and former World Championship silver medalist to a peripheral figure over the course of 5 3-minute rounds of boxing. The Cuba Domadores lead 3-0 on the night, 6-2 on aggregate, and they, in their first season of World Series boxing action, have booked their place in the final of World Series boxing in season 4.
So, of course, Russia needed to win 3 of the bouts tonight. They will not achieve that. So, no sudden death contest, and really an easy night for Cuba's Lenier Perot and Sergei Kalchugin. There's the standings. 3-0 out of the 5 in favor of the Cuban Domadores.
Árbitro, Mick Basie.